Hey y'all, just want to jump in here before the start of the video. Rare Uncle Mike appearance, but I have fought with YouTube for the past 2 hours of trying to get the video cut down in terms of a copyright claim of a scene. Sadly, the video I was supposed to show you guys a scene that shows what I believe is the most important of it of the series so far, but of course YouTube will not let me do that. So instead, there are going to be parts of the scene over my voiceover. So you'll get to see it, but you won't be able to hear it. And again, that is my apologies on behalf of you guys not being able to see that. Of course, I recommend just go watch the episode yourself and then come back to the video and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. So again, I apologize for not being able to show you guys that, but nonetheless, enjoy the video, guys. See you next time.
Now, since I've made a video on The Last of Us game, I wanted to shift towards the show, as it is a great adaptation that utilizes the source material and presents it with a different yet similar light. The show has a scene that so far is the most important out of everything else we've seen so far in the 9 episode run, and that is when he is finally reunited with Tommy, and we see the real Joel come out. But before I talk of the scene, I need to first give some backstory. So in episode 6, which is the episode that this scene comes from, we begin to see Joel having anxiety attacks that stop him in his tracks, gotta have his heart racing too fast and slow him down. And we do not find out what that is until he finally gets to Tommy. And they have one of the most heartbreaking conversations I've ever heard in a. Now, to give you some more background, of course, now that you have seen the scene, Tommy is expecting a child with his wife Maria, and that is a liberty they took for this show that is not in the game, but it makes this scene more impactful and tense, as Joel has finally shown himself. See, up until this point, the Joel we've seen is the one who's ruthless, angry, bitter, and a killer who only cares for survival, no matter the cost. And we see in this scene how that has just worn him down, and he is now a scared old man who feels like he is only going to get Ellie killed or worse. Now, this would make sense for Joel as he has seen Tess, someone he loved, but never showed that love because of his callous heart, die. Because of this mission that he agreed to reluctantly and told over and over that it was not what needed to be done and we need to turn back and leave. This is not something we should do. And, that of course is probably going to be one of his biggest regrets that we see in the show and how he reacts to Tess's death. But of course, we with Henry and Sam, as you know, Sam turned into a into a zombie, and Henry had to kill him. And sadly, that burden of what he had just done, that was super traumatic, had him kill himself as well. Now, not to mention the one death that still haunts him from 20 years ago, of course, which is Sarah. See, Joel has been scared of protecting Ellie since the beginning, and we only see that by the way he reacts to anything she says. In the beginning, as he is cold and distant because he's afraid to love again, especially after the recent loss of Tess, because he knows how this ends when you get attached to somebody and you begin to care about them and their livelihood. And he can't do it again. But even Ellie tells him that she cannot be turned, but he's not afraid of the infected of this world, but he's afraid of the worst threat in the world of The Last of Us, people, because people are what keep this world from evolving into something great. As we see in the episode with Jackson, we see it's a thriving community of people of the old world coming back together again to reform that union. And it's very nice to see in that episode. But then we see in other episodes, and of course later ones, how humanity is tearing itself down through just death and destruction. I mean, everywhere Joel and Ellie go, other than Jackson, is full of people who are broken and lost that just kill and maim and do horrible other things to people. I mean, we see in the previous episodes with the community that overthrew the government of the entire or of this point in the world, Fedra. I mean, they were hanging people in the streets and of course killing conspirators because they were angry, but the way they killed them were so brutal with hangings and dragging them through the streets. And that just shows us how far this world has gone and of course puts into question if a vaccine would even help bring humanity back to where it was 20 years ago, as I believe it would not be. Humanity is lost. It is just lost, and it could never go back due to the insane, brutal reality they live in this world. But again, because of these people in the world, or humanity in general, Joel, of course, that's why he begs Tommy to please take her. Because while it may seem like he's manipulating Tommy to do it, he's not. He actually feels like he will get Ellie killed, or worse, because he cannot react as well as he could due to his deafness, and just being old, of course. But most of all, he cannot get emotionally attached to Ellie, because she can just be Sarah 2.0, as we see that hinted in the show, where Joel and Ellie are put into situations where Joel is powerless, cannot do anything to help her, just like where he was in Texas in 2003. This scene makes the most important trait that Joel has, that we really haven't seen up until this point. He is human. Joel is a broken man who is so tired of failure that he would rather quit than push on, and we can see the toll it's taken on him physically and mentally for 20 years. I mean, he is living in an impossible situation and losing people. And of course, why wouldn't you feel like you're a failure? I mean, you're losing people and you somehow survive. I kind of I have this theory though that Joel does have somewhat of a survivor's guilt when he loses people, just due to the fact that he is old and broken as he sees himself, and all these people survive. Or I'm sorry, they die, and all Joel can do is really just take it and roll on, as we see in the show when he gets into situations where death is involved of his friends. He kind of just pushes on. He tucks it down and, well, he forgets it. But in this scene, we see him finally cry, which is something Joel hasn't probably done like he has in this scene in 20 years, due to the fact that he has tried to make himself a robot with zero emotions. But the problem is, he met Ellie, who has opened his heart back up and is, of course, making him vulnerable. But that's love. See, we put ourselves in risk of heartbreak with everyone we love, because that's what makes life livable, as we can never be truly alone, because we are built to love and be loved, and to take on this life with family, friends, and a partner. See, this scene isn't just about Joel not feeling up to the task, it's also his internal fear of the fact that he is opening up to Ellie like he did his daughter Sarah, which in turn, Ellie is becoming his daughter. Not a shock in this if you've played the games, of course, but this terrifies him, because these dreams, I'm speculating, are from the fact he is opening himself up to being a father again, and to protect and love Ellie like he tried with Sarah all those years ago. See, I think the dreams he cannot remember are of Sarah dying in his arms, but it's replaced with Ellie instead, as he is beginning to open up to her like he did Sarah. And he is starting to get the same feelings he did with Sarah with Ellie now. And these dreams are becoming so traumatic that his brain is deciding to forget what they are, but he cannot escape the feeling it creates. And I think he somewhat knows what the dreams are about. I think he remembers who is in the dream and what happened, but he doesn't remember the entire dream. I feel like he also is too afraid to remember it because he knows what it's doing to him mentally and physically. And I think that, again, his existential crisis is failure, like I've described, and I think that Joel is just ready to quit. He's an old man. He's broken. He's deaf. He's just ready to be done. And he feels destined to fail, but he will not, because at the end of this episode, we see Joel and Ellie bonding, becoming the duo we come to see in the game. And of course, Joel lets her choose in this, and of course, the show, and differently like the game, and she chooses him instantly because she knows Joel is a survivor and is a protector who, yes, he's human, he makes mistakes, but he will not let her down, because Sarah was the catalyst to make him the survivor he is in the show, to then, of course, protect Ellie until, of course, he dies. he'll sacrifice life and limb for Ellie because of the relationship they're building, not just because of her immunity, but because of the relationships they are building. And that's why this is the most important scene in The Last of Us show. It's a moment where a father is terrified of losing someone that has brought him back to life, that he can enjoy, and not just be an old man letting life pass him by because of his failures. But now he is proving to himself that he can be the protector of his new daughter, Ellie.
You came here to say goodbye or something?
No. I came here to steal one of these horses and go.
I would have gave you one.
I know. Anyway, that was 30 minutes ago, and I guess you deserve a choice. I still think you'd be better off with Tommy.
Let's go.
Okay. Hold on to both.
Mm-hmm.
General direction?
Head southeast till you hit I-25. It's right off the interstate. Should be hard to miss. There's a place for you here. Both of you.
Counting on it.
Well, I want to thank you guys for watching this video, another Last of Us video essay. I really appreciate the popularity of the last video. I appreciate all the support you all have been giving me, as that is the most seen video I have made, and it really helps keep me going. I apologize for the lack of uploads. These past 2 weeks, school's picked up, and hopefully I'm about to have a break where I can make a couple more videos, get them out in a weekly fashion, so to keep you guys having more content. But again, I want to thank you all for watching and listening to this video. And again, please hit that like button if you enjoyed the video essay. Again, remember to subscribe if you would like to see more video essay content from me as well. And also, if you'd like to see just more gaming content news covered as well, just let me know in the comments, and I can start covering games a little more like I did on the channel originally. But until the next one, I'll see you all later. Goodbye.